Tonight on CTV News at 6, new nation-building projects, no Alberta pipeline yet.
Those discussions are going well. We're encouraged.
Why Danielle Smith still has hope for another way to move Alberta oil to market.
We've made a lot of progress.
Pets and valuable documents rescued from apartments destroyed by a West End fire.
These guys just did a sensational job. Very impressed with them.
And did someone say Gondola?
The dream is still very much alive.
The call for Rossdale renewal ideas resurrects a recent pitch.
All of our partners, all of our international investors remain committed.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Prime Minister Mark Carney has revealed his government's second round of nation-building projects. Well, a pipeline project in Alberta is once again not on the list. Premier Danielle Smith hopes an agreement is coming soon. Connor Hogg joins us now with more. And Connor, what projects are included in this second round?
Well, Jeff, 6 new projects have been referred through Carney's major project office, which will fast-track them in the interest of making Canada more self-sufficient against volatility in the United States. As mentioned, a new bitumen pipeline project is not on today's list, something many in Alberta, including the provincial government, were hoping for. 3 new critical minerals projects were revealed in Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick. 2 liquefied natural gas projects in BC will move ahead, as will an Inuit-owned hydroelectric energy project in Iqaluit. Premier Danielle Smith is still looking for movement on a pipeline. Prime Minister Mark Carney was asked about Smith's so-called grand bargain today.
We call it a memorandum of understanding, as does the Premier. Those discussions are going well. I'm personally encouraged by the progress that we're making. There's a few more issues that we're working on ironing out.
Carney says his government is looking for major investment that would shield Alberta, its oil and gas industry, and the country from risk. He also wants a possible pipeline project to be low cost and low carbon. Carney says he's looking forward to more progress over the coming weeks and says the Carbon Capture Pathways project is also part of Alberta discussions. Smith says the removal of what she calls anti-oil legislation is part of that MOU. She also says it includes, quote, ultimate approval of an Alberta to BC bitumen pipeline in addition to pathways.
Are we going to get to the finish line on an MOU? We'll know in a few more days. I'm very hopeful. I think if you watch the Prime Minister when he announced his major projects list today, he is also encouraged. We've made a lot of progress. We've been going back and forth on an MOU every day, I think, as we're getting the final wording, and I'm really hopeful that we'll have something more to say about that in a few days.
Now, about an hour ago, Smith spoke to the media. She says she isn't surprised a pipeline wasn't part of today's announcement. She says while her previously announced deadline of a deal by the Grey Cup probably won't be met, both sides have a sense of urgency. She believes there will be an answer within the next few days. Jeff?
All right, Connor, thank you. A stolen car that crashed into the guardrail along Anthony Henday Drive caused some major delays this morning. Our CTV drone caught some aerial footage of the scene. Police say while patrolling in the southeast around 3 a.m., they saw the vehicle take a hard turn and speed away. Air One then began to follow it. EPS says the car reached speeds of 250 kilometers an hour, and the driver was running red lights and driving erratically. Police disabled the vehicle's tires near the Henday and Whitemud before it crashed into the guardrail. A 22-year-old man was arrested. Police say charges are pending. A man is thanking firefighters for helping him salvage important legal documents from his burned-out home. He and more than a dozen other people lost most of their belongings in a West End apartment fire last night. Nerman Issa reports.
About 20 hours after a fire broke out at this apartment building in the Jasper Place neighborhood, crews remained on scene dousing hot spots.
It was deep within the building, making it very difficult to extinguish. You have to get access to the fire, first of all, locate it exactly without it. And by that time, it had already extended within a large amount of the building, going up the walls and eventually into the ceiling.
The damage is extensive.
We do have some heavy equipment coming in, and we can hopefully pick through this and actually fully extinguish this. We have to take the roof off. It's not safe for any of our members in there right now.
Fire broke out just after 5 p.m. last night. No injuries were reported. 22 tenants are displaced, along with about a dozen pets. This tenant lives on the top floor. Abby Manikandon wanted to see what was left of his place. He asked firefighters to do what seemed impossible, help find important documents.
I know where my documents are, and so I just asked them to see, is it possible to have a look into the room, or is there any way?
Manikandon stored his passport, work permits, and other legal documents in a special case. He told fire crews where they were. They were found spared from water or fire damage.
So the file is safe, but I lost all other things at the moment. So I'm so grateful to get those documents, actually.
These were the two firefighters who took on the challenge.
They were able to go in off their bucket, tied in, found his documents, retrieved them in an absolute pristine condition. These guys just did a sensational job. Very impressed with them.
The district fire chief hopes this serves as a reminder to ensure your documents are protected in case of fire. Naram Nisa, CTV News, Edmonton.
Police have laid second-degree murder charges in connection with a death in downtown Edmonton last month. In early October, a 42-year-old man died after being shot near 107th Avenue and 109th Street. A 20-year-old man has been charged with second-degree murder. Police say the two did not know each other. And police have released an AI image to identify a woman who was found dead near Bellamy Hill Road last winter. The woman was found in a waste disposal bin near the end of December. Her death is not considered suspicious. Police say she was captured on surveillance video walking up an alley and getting into the bin. She's described as an Indigenous woman between 25 and 35 years old with shoulder-length brown and red hair. She had a flower tattoo on her shoulder and was wearing a brown puffer jacket and brown boots. Primary Care Alberta has declared a tuberculosis outbreak in Edmonton's inner city. The decision was made in October after 2 homeless people were infected with the same strain, suggesting the illness has been transmitted in Edmonton. Primary Care says so far this year, 12 cases have been connected to Edmonton's inner city. TB mainly affects the lungs and can be spread through coughing, sneezing, and spit. It can be treated with antibiotics. A sober living and transitional housing complex is now open in the Eastwood neighborhood. Today was the grand opening of Mianuk, which means in a good place. The Salvation Army is operating the 23-unit affordable housing facility. $900 a month gets tenants a fully furnished suite, utilities, parking, and social supports. No damage deposit is required. The program is for people who've committed to maintaining sobriety while pursuing other goals such as working or going to school.
The challenge is when people spend and invest into their recovery, once they finish that program, there's not a lot of affordable housing available. So this gives them an alternative. It's a small program, it's only a drop in the bucket, really, but will help.
Those living here can stay up to 23 months. A handful of people have already moved in. The project was funded in part by both the provincial and federal governments. The Gondola idea is back with the new city council and a call for ideas to repurpose the historic Rossdale power plant. Prairie Sky is hopeful its gondola can become part of the vision. Its president says it's still the best way to solve the access issues in Rossdale. CTV's Jeremy Thompson reports.
Imagine boarding a gondola on the edge of downtown and being whisked away into and across the river valley. That's the vision that earned top spot in a 2018 competition for big ideas.
The dream is still very much alive.
President Jeffrey Hansen Carlson says Prairie Sky has been in a holding pattern since City Council shelved the gondola proposal 3 years ago.
We would be able to basically modernize our business case very quickly. All of our partners, all of our international investors remain committed.
Now that there's an open call for ideas to repurpose the historic Rossdale power plant, Hansen Carlson says it's a perfect opportunity to revisit the gondola proposal. The power plant would have been one of 5 stations between downtown and White Avenue. He believes it's still the best and least disruptive way to get big crowds in and out of an area with limited access points.
There are other approaches and ways that we can tackle that. Again, always open to all ideas, but I don't think that there's only one solution here.
Councillor Ann Stevenson voted against leasing land to Prairie Sky 3 years ago. Most councillors then felt there hadn't been enough consultation with Indigenous groups who consider the Rossdale Flats sacred land. Plus, there was pushback from people who live in the neighbourhood over privacy. Mayor Andrew Knack says any proposal would need to demonstrate clear private sector viability and strong community support before it could be reconsidered. Prairie Sky is prepared to work with the city again, despite some hard feelings from past rejection.
We want them to reach out to us, right? We've done the work any private, unsolicited proponent would. We've invested millions of dollars in this.
Hanson Carlson says Prairie Sky is in talks with at least one developer about a pitch for the power plant that includes a gondola. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Tennis and pickleball players won't have to wait until spring to get into the game. A new facility is now open in West Edmonton. Gates Warren has more from the hard court.
Tony Jong has found himself returning to the tennis court. He's now able to lace up his tennis shoes all year round at a brand new facility.
This is a really nice facility, especially since we don't actually have very many indoor courts in Edmonton, so it's nice to have some extra ones.
The IQ Tennis and Pickleball Center in West Meadowlark Park only opened a couple of weeks ago, and operations are already in full swing.
We have a very hard winter here where a lot of people don't go outside, so it keeps people, healthy, active, our seniors, our kids.
The center has bookable courts under a dome, allowing players like Jong to get a match in any time of the year.
It's beautiful, compared to what was here before. They had the public tennis courts, and they were a bit, they were pretty rough, run down, lots of cracks.
The center previously received a $1.5 million grant from the province to help in its maintenance and construction, which began back in the summer. IQ's co-founder says the facility is needed to meet a growing demand.
The demand is so huge, right? And there's only, if you think about it, there's only 2 public places in the whole city where you can play tennis not being a member, just paying, renting the court, and going home.
Jong has seen a resurgence in tennis himself and a growing interest in pickleball.
Clearly, there are more people playing tennis, more people playing pickleball as well. So I think if those people, want to continue with the sport, then I think facilities like this are really great.
He hopes to see more of these pop up around the city so others can check it out for themselves. Gates Warren, CTV News, Edmonton.
A bull riding battle between Edmonton's sports mascots has become an annual tradition.
And we're going. Give it up for Hunter, trying to do some bull surfing.
PBR Canada hosted the competition this afternoon ahead of its Canadian National Finals event this weekend. 5 Edmonton mascots took part in a 3-round competition, earning style points along the way. Dozens of students showed up to cheer on the mascots. Punter from the Edmonton Elks took home first place. Hunter from the Oilers and River from the Riverhawks came in second and third.
Yeah, that's what got them the win was, that extra effort. You can really appreciate it when they go through all the effort of making sure they look the part too. So, yeah, it was definitely cool to see that.
The PBR Canadian National Finals takes place Friday and Saturday nights at Rogers Place. Now we'll go out to the Expo Center where we find Josh this evening for the NINA. Josh.
Yeah, Jeff, this is one of my favorite events of the entire year. It is so awesome to be surrounded by all of these artists that the NINA helps support. If you've never been to a NINA Awards ceremony, put it on your calendar for next year. I have Rona Fraser with the NINA here. Why is this such a great event?
Because we are recognizing some of the most talented artists in all of Western Canada. These are artists. They have developmental disabilities and they are thriving. They're leading the way. They're leaders in the arts and cultural community, in painting, drawing, printmaking, you name it, they're doing it.
It is, listen, when you invited me and I had a chance to visit this summer, it is buzzing with activity there inside the Nina Haggerty Center for the Arts. For people that don't really know what it is that you guys do, very briefly explain that to them.
All right, we're a center that has a gallery and studio space, and the studio space accommodates 240 artists with developmental disabilities who come in and get to practice making art, whatever they are. They're professional artists. Sure. Could be clay, could be painting, could be dancing. We do it all.
Awesome. Okay, listen, if you're not here, there are still ways that you could help support the NINA. Find them online, NINA, and again, put this event on your calendar for next year, and you'll be here year after year. Rona, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you looking forward to that tonight?
I can't wait. With the lineup of artists and the awards is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be amazing.
Outstanding. Okay, let's talk quickly a little bit about the weather, as that's what they pay me to do, Rona. You know, there is a chance that we could see some flurries here later on this evening. Right now, that snow's still all off to the west and northwest of the city. It's 1 in Edmonton right now after hitting 4 degrees for a daytime high today. We thought we'd get to about 6 or 7. That warm air just stalled out just south of the city. I mean, Red Deer was at 17 degrees this afternoon, and we were 13 degrees cooler. There's a look at where that snow is right now, falling in the Fort McMurray region, Whitecourt, and off to the southwest, and it is marching slowly towards the Edmonton area. So before tonight is done, we'll probably see at least some flurry activity. We'll talk about how much we might anticipate in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, a resolution at the UCP's upcoming AGM is raising some eyebrows.
There's money in causing people to be frightened.
Fresh concern about the fate of fluoride, also ahead.
These are not things that we want to wait until people understand the urgency.
When a former Alberta Chief Medical Officer of Health thinks of Canada's loss of measles elimination status and what it means for the future.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Century Casino, 3 great locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
The fluoride debate has been rekindled. Some people are worried about the fate of the mineral in municipal water ahead of provincial discussions later this month. CTV's Tim Brooke explains.
In 2 weeks, UCP members will vote on 35 new ideas for the party. Among them, Policy Resolution 27, a call to end the practice of community water fluoridation because it constitutes medical treatment without consent.
There's money in causing people to be frightened.
Many can't believe it's a subject being brought up again. Fluoride was reintroduced into Calgary's water system after 62% of voters said they were in favor of it in 2021.
The people of Calgary want fluoridation. They know what happened when it was taken. They had a decade of decay, and they're fed up with it.
Anti-fluoride groups are currently in court and say they are lobbying the province to take away the naturally occurring mineral. Like some south of the border, they believe fluoride is dangerous.
Only about 205,000 Calgarians voted for water fluoridation in 2021, and about 130,000 voted against it. But right now, there's about 1.8 million people that are being fluoridated.
Of course, no decisions have been made, and UCP policy resolutions aren't automatically turned into law if members vote yes. But they have often been a jumping-off point for future legislation.
I think it's just another case of the UCP in general wanting to control everything in municipalities. The overreach that they've already shown is it's pretty significant and quite appalling.
The party, the municipal affairs minister, and the constituency associations which submitted the policy resolution all denied interview requests.
We are continuing to work with municipalities who would like input into that decision making. But, Mr. Speaker, it is a municipal decision at this point in time.
And dentists are hoping it stays that way.
It's proven to reduce cavity risk in communities that have it, across all ages, but especially in younger children. We really are acting in everyone's best interest and kind of against our own by suggesting fluoride go in waters.
The AGM starts November 28th in Edmonton. Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
The UCP did send a statement saying it encourages debate amongst members, reiterating not every idea discussed will be accepted. A former Alberta Chief Medical Officer of Health says Canada's loss of measles elimination status could be a sign of what's to come. Dr. James Talbot says the vaccine hesitancy that contributed to the outbreak could lead to a resurgence of other rare diseases. For example, he says mumps and rubella shots come as a package with measles vaccines, so opting out means losing protection from all three. Speaking today on Alberta Primetime, Talbot says because infection rates of these types of diseases have been low for so long, many people think they've completely gone away. He says bacteria and viruses are still circulating around the world and across Canada.
These are not things that we want to wait until people understand the urgency because they've seen cases happen. And all of the rates for immunization for those diseases are way below where they should be in Alberta.
The province says measles cases are down 90% from the peak of the outbreak, with 2 active cases in Alberta as of Monday. It said it has seen a 50% increase in vaccination rates since March compared to the same period last year. Coming up, professionally trained in comfort. We'll introduce you to the newest team member at the Stollery Children's Hospital. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Jake, and Josh had to go MC something really quickly, but he'll be right back to tell you about the cool weather coming.
Join me tomorrow on Your Morning Edmonton for Winter Car Care Series, brought to you by Midas. Winter tires, what you need to know to stay safe on Edmonton's wintry and icy roads.
Today, we're going to talk about warm fronts and cold fronts, which you guys are all experts on, right? Yes, you know that, of course, this thing with these flower petals, is that a warm front or a cold front? That's a warm front, that's right. And this thing with these big sharp teeth, that's called a cold front, that's right. And we call them warm fronts and cold fronts because it's the front of the warm air or the front of the cold air. Now, let's say we've got all these temperatures here. Let's say the air is moving this way. Okay, let's try and figure out where is the warm front. Do you think the warm front is out here in the cold air? No. How about right about here? Yeah, right at the edge of that warm air as it's moving in. What about this cold front? Where should we draw the cold front? Right about here? No. Way back here? No. Right here? Oh, very good. Okay, so there's your cold air. And now by tomorrow, this cold front's probably going to move over this way. And so everybody here will cool off, and everybody over here will warm up as the warm air moves into them. Make sense? Yeah. Of course it does. These are the grade 5s from... That's right, smart grade 5s out here at Ellerslie campus. Forecasters of the future, and you are...
Programming brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Strong schools equal a strong Alberta.
Patients at the Stollery now have a paw to hold for comfort and support. The hospital has a dog on staff, a first in a Canadian child life specialist facility. CTV's Amanda Anderson has the story.
2-year-old Pumbaa is the newest staff member at the Stollery Children's Hospital.
There's lots of sounds, noises, smells, people, tons of different people who come through here. So we needed to make sure that we really had a bomb-proof for that sound dog, that behaviorally sound dog, that'd be able to handle this type of environment.
He's the most chill lab I've ever met. He just has a calming nature about him. He loves to cuddle and snuggle, and that's his favorite thing to do with the kids, is snuggle on their beds with them.
Matthew Davis's son Jake was one of Pumbaa's first patients.
He was in a medically induced coma, and Pumbaa was actually even just laying beside him, even when he wasn't awake. And what's interesting is now that he's in his recovery stage, he still talks about actually recognizing that Pumbaa was there.
Jake has an extremely rare genetic condition with the inability to repair his DNA. He developed a form of cancer on his liver, requiring a transplant from his mom. They've been at the Stollery since August, with Pumbaa there every step of the way.
You lead the way.
And having the ability to have somebody like Pumbaa here has been even great for me as a parent, just seeing how happy Jake is when Pumbaa comes by.
Pumbaa's here at the Stollery 4 days a week. He puts in an 8-hour shift, but about 6 of those are spent with patients. Big time. Pumbaa is there for emotional support during tests and procedures and serves as motivation to help kids overcome fears.
To be able to provide that safety and that comfort to children in a really unfamiliar, scary environment is amazing.
All costs for Pumbaa are taken care of by the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation donors. Since July, he's already tended to the needs of hundreds of young patients.
To even be able to witness what he can do that I can't do.
Do we say? Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
All right, back out to the Expo Center. And Josh, watching a bit of snow heading our way, possibly.
Yeah, it really doesn't look like we're going to wake up to much, if any, snow on the ground tomorrow morning, but we will likely see at least a few flurries flying through here mid to late this evening. I'll show you that radar map again in a second. Here's what it looks like outside right now, just cloudy as of right now on the River Valley Skycam. It's brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. 1 in Edmonton after a high of 4 earlier today. Get to 2 in Grand Prairie, 1 in Fort McMurray for a high. Look to the south, though. I mean, we thought we'd get to about 6 or 7 for a daytime high. We knew the warmest air would stay south of us, but that is a ridiculous, sharp line between not bad temperatures and heat. 17 in Red Deer, 21s in Lethbridge, Medicine Hat for daytime highs. It is turning awfully windy, though, in the southwest quarter of the province. You have a wind warning. Could see gusts upwards of 100 kilometers per hour in the red zone, especially through high elevations. 15 to 30 centimeters of snow tapering off tomorrow morning. I think in Jasper Townside, in Banff, it's probably more just rain or a little bit of a rain-snow mix than it is heavy, wet snow. But higher elevations along the Icefields Parkway, you're going to see some significant accumulation. Could see a couple centimeters as well in through northeastern Alberta. You've got some snow falling right now in Fort McMurray in the darker purple zones. That's where you have the heavier snow right now. As it gets a little bit whiter, the snow gets a little bit lighter. Not much in the way of mixed precipitation or freezing rain as of just yet, but you do see that little bit of a rain-snow mix there in the pink zones around Lac La Biche. Now, Whitecourt down through Edson, that's where the band of snow is that's going to potentially roll through the Edmonton area, but watch how this kind of falls apart right as it approaches the Edmonton area and then starts to slide through. So there's 9 o'clock this evening, snowing west and southwest of the city, snowing off to the northeast, but yeah, just some flurries potentially here in the city. So keep an eye out for roads tomorrow morning. They may be a little slick and icy depending on how much precipitation we actually get, but this certainly doesn't look like it's going to be a big snowstorm for the Edmonton area tonight. Wind will be a much bigger factor tonight and tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a moment. There's your clearing for the overnight period and through the day tomorrow. So we'll get some sunshine for tomorrow, but gusty wind. Gusts will be about 40 to 50 kilometers per hour. It's 8 in Red Deer right now. It's cooled significantly from where you were earlier today. 0s in Grand Prairie and Fort McMurray. And as we mentioned, 1 here in Edmonton with the wind now starting to pick up in the next couple of hours. By mid to late this evening, you're going to see some gusts north and south of the city. Those will take over in Edmonton overnight and early tomorrow morning. And then even through the early afternoon hours, looks like we've got wind about 20 gusting to 40 kilometers per hour, a little stronger further east. And while the wind backs off here in the city by late tomorrow afternoon, it probably stays gusty in eastern and northeastern Alberta right through into tomorrow evening. So temperatures around the freezing mark through this evening and up to about midnight, and then -4 tomorrow morning. We'll get some clearing after midnight and sunshine for tomorrow afternoon. A degree or 2 above 0 tomorrow. Should be about 2 degrees Saturday. We'll start the day Saturday with some clouds. Sun will break out in the afternoon, and then about 4 degrees on Sunday with partly cloudy skies. Next chance of snow after this evening comes Tuesday of next week. If we get through Tuesday of next week without any snow on the ground, though, we could get to the 24th or 25th of November with no snow, or certainly no significant snow on the ground. Temperatures will cool off in a big way, though, over the course of the next 10 days. The warm spell is over, and we return to average temperatures for the foreseeable future. Daytime highs in the +2 to -2 range, Jeff, for the next week and a half, and probably longer.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, creating Canadian jobs.
It makes sense to have a big footprint in Canada together with Canadian industry. So it's absolutely a benefit for us to do that.
A Swedish jet maker's pitch to Canada, and
non-Arctic states, including the People's Republic of China, seek to gain a strategic and economic foothold in the region.
Foreign intelligence collection efforts in Canada's Arctic.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Boston Pizza's 5 Days of Pizza for Ben, supporting the Ben Stelter Foundation.
Returning to our top story, a big announcement from the Prime Minister today on 6 major projects for fast-tracking. As CTV's Michael Couture reports, they include mining in Ontario and New Brunswick and power in BC.
They are part of nation-building strategies to transform our economies.
The Prime Minister says the transformation is necessary because it's estimated U.S. tariffs and the accompanying uncertainty will cost the Canadian government $50 billion. It's why one of the projects supported by the federal government is a BC liquefied natural gas facility.
Silesums will become Canada's second largest LNG facility with a capacity to export 12 million tons of LNG every year to new markets.
In addition to that facility, the second round of projects includes a hydroelectric development project in Iqaluit, the Sisson Mine project in New Brunswick, the Crawford Nickel Mine project in northern Ontario, the North Coast Transmission Line in northwestern BC, and the Nouveau Monde Graphite Mine north of Montreal. All of them at various stages of development. And the head of the Major Projects Office says her role will be to speed up the process.
Our job is all about making sure that people get across the line, get everything they need to get built on time and on budget.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says the new federal office is part of the problem.
He's created yet another bureaucracy, a new bureaucratic hurdle for miners and oil and gas enterprises and other resource companies to jump through in order to get anything approved.
While the goal is to make Canada less reliant on trade with the U.S., some researchers say governments need to look beyond the current trade issues.
We need to think about what's going to happen with that land after mining's finished. What post-mining land uses could be secured there.
In addition to the 6 projects, the federal office will implement a strategy to improve infrastructure in an area between BC and Yukon, also known as the Northwest Critical Conservation Corridor. Mike Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
A Swedish fighter jet manufacturer said today a deal on its Gripen aircraft could bring thousands of well-paying jobs to Canada. Saab confirmed it has held talks with Bombardier and other Canadian companies about the Gripen. CTV's Jean-Vier Bushma is in Sweden.
The company that makes the Gripen has told CTV News that 10,000 manufacturing and research jobs could land in Canada if Ottawa adds the Swedish fighter jet to its military fleet. The president and CEO of Saab, Mikael Johansson, confirmed he's talked with Ottawa about making Gripens in Canada. He's also met with companies including Bombardier, CAE, and IMP in Nova Scotia.
It's important for Canada to have sovereign capability in Canada to do their own upgrades, to build parts of it, to do final assembly and tests. We, as Saab, we are prepared to do that technology transfer to Canada and support that build-up.
This would be contingent, of course, on Canada adding the Gripen to its military fleet. That technology transfer could see the first Canadian-made Gripen fly off the assembly line within 3 to 5 years. It could also lead to the building of a new facility, a hub of sorts, where jets could be made not just for Canada, but other nations, including Ukraine.
It makes sense to have a big footprint in Canada together with Canadian industry. So it's absolutely a benefit for us to do that.
Canada has already committed to buying made in the U.S. F-35s with an option to scale up to 88. But Prime Minister Mark Carney ordered a review of the purchase amid growing trade tensions with the neighbors to the south. A decision on whether to have a dual fleet of F-35s and Gripens has been up in the air since. A large delegation from Sweden, led by the King and Queen of this country here, is headed to Canada next week with the aim of strengthening ties. Johansson is also making the trip, which is making a stop at Bombardier.
We are focusing quite heavily to make sure that Canada has all the information they need for the moment. And then it's up to Canada to decide.
There's no word as to just when a decision could be announced. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Stockholm.
Canada's spy service is warning China and Russia have significant interest in the Arctic and are spying on governments and businesses developing the region's vast potential.
Non-Arctic states, including the People's Republic of China, seek to gain a strategic and economic foothold in the region. Russia, an Arctic state with a significant military presence in the region, remains unpredictable and aggressive.
The CSIS director detailed the threats facing Canada in a speech today. CSIS has shared the information with Inuit and territorial governments to help them consider national security when forming partnerships with foreign companies and investors. The White House is downplaying newly released emails from convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's estate. In several exchanges, Epstein references his friend Donald Trump, casting new scrutiny on their relationship. CTV's Joy Malvin has more from Washington.
In newly released emails, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein wrote a New York Times reporter in 2015, suggesting he might have dirt on Donald Trump. Would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? And in 2019, when President Trump was running for re-election, Epstein wrote author Michael Wolff, alleging Trump knew about Epstein's criminal behavior. He wrote, of course he knew about the girls, and he asked Ghislaine to stop. Epstein also confirmed in an email the former Prince Andrew was photographed with one of Epstein's victims, the late Virginia Giuffre, contradicting Andrew's claim that he never met her.
Categorically, I don't remember meeting her at all.
President Trump has denied all allegations of wrongdoing, but his administration continues to push back against releasing the Justice Department's case files, FBI investigations, names, and the scope of Epstein's crimes. Abuse survivors pleading for the truth to come out.
Just rip the Band-Aid off all at once, give the public what they need, and give us what we need, which is transparency. The other survivors, my survivor sisters, they're not going away.
In Washington, the politics are shifting. More Republicans now are joining Democrats demanding full public disclosure of Epstein's crimes.
I would remind my colleagues that this vote is going to be on your record for longer than Trump is going to be president.
The pressure on this White House is not letting up. Democrats now have the numbers to force a vote next week that could lead to the full release of the Epstein files. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
Still ahead, true crime from the vaults.
Mr. Lissick would like to see this matter resolved as quickly as possible.
And where $16 million stolen from the Bank of Montreal went. In our last episode detailing the fraud committed by the branch manager.
Help us build a mountain of toys. Donate today at ctvedmonton.ca.
In 2002, Edmonton bank manager Nick Lissick was implicated in a fraud scheme that saw him steal $16 million from the Bank of Montreal. As we showed you yesterday in this historic case, the amount of evidence was so overwhelming, Lissick had to cut a deal. Here now, the conclusion on our crime tapes.
After years of falsifying records to steal millions of dollars, bank manager Nick Lissick was found out during an audit at his West End branch. $16 million was missing from the Bank of Montreal, and there was an easy trail as to where some of it went. It included jewelry and furs, homes and hot rods, and all of it leading back to Nick Lissick, leaving him only one choice: make a deal and plead guilty. Here's what it looked like from our crime tapes.
Nick Lissick walked away from court saying nothing, but inside he pleaded guilty to defrauding his former employer, the Bank of Montreal, of more than $16 million. Where did it go to? Nick Lissick took more than $4 million. His girlfriend, who was an escort, named Lillian Green, got nearly $3.5 million. Other escorts Lissick met over the same 6-year period he stole the money received another $3.5. Amanda Orr was one of many, receiving a paltry $116,000. He did it by using names of friends and family, but by falsifying their net worth. The scam continued as long as interest was paid on more than $15 million. The bottom fell out during an audit in 2002. Lissick was arrested a few days later. At least 40 cars were recovered by the bank, 17 pieces of property, as well as furnishings and fine jewelry. The defense will be a psychologist who says Lissick was chronically depressed during the time the money went missing. His lawyer wouldn't speculate on how this sentencing hearing might end.
Only a brief comment, which is that we're pleased that things are proceeding, and Mr. Lissick would like to see this matter resolved as quickly as possible.
Lissick was sentenced to 7 years and 4 months. He was granted day parole little more than a year after he went inside. And in 2008, the Bank of Montreal finally closed the books on trying to recover all the assets stolen by the former branch manager. After seizing all the property, selling off all the assets, then paying their own legal fees, the bank was only able to recoup $6 million of the missing money, leaving them close to $10 million short. I'm David Owasik, and this has been a story from the crime tapes.
Looking at today's markets, the Canadian dollar holding steady near 71 cents U.S. Oil up 20 cents, closing the day at $58.69 U.S. a barrel. Gold lost more than $19 on the day. The TSX and Dow Jones both lower, down 573 points and 797. The Christmas Bureau of Edmonton has launched its holiday fundraising campaign.
We can rebuild it.
The organization held its annual Gingerbread House competition at the Expo Center this afternoon. 18 teams from a variety of industries competed in an effort to raise funds and awareness for the Christmas Bureau. Teams had to raise a minimum $500 in order to participate.
The creative minds in our city is just amazing. We've got a Home Alone house, we've got a Taste of Edmonton house, we've got a seniors facility. It's amazing.
The Christmas Bureau has been serving nutritious holiday meals to Edmontonians for 85 years. This year, thousands of applications have already been submitted from families in need. Coming up, a simple wish list with a significant impact.
It's pretty humble askings on the tag.
How you can share the holiday spirit with seniors in your community.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
Friday on your morning, we get you ready for the Grey Cup, Alouettes versus the Rough Riders, plus how to make sure to get the right winter tires, and celebrating the food and art of Edmonton's Vietnamese community.
Help us build a mountain of toys. Donate today at ctvedmonton.ca.
A program that shares a little holiday spirit with seniors is back at London Drugs. The Stocking Stuffers for Seniors initiative started in 2014. Christmas trees are set up inside each store with gift tags on the tree. Each tag has a wish list from a senior in their community. Customers can help fulfill those wish lists. London Drugs is collaborating with more than 200 care homes. The Unity Square location off 104th Avenue hopes to collect 6,000 gifts.
They're basic needs. They're slippers, a blanket, toiletries, snacks or treats, anything. It's pretty humble askings on the tag.
These gifts are for low-income seniors, maybe seniors suffering with mental health issues, addictions, maybe don't have that family support around the holiday season.
The program runs until Monday, December the 8th. Since it started 11 years ago, more than 97,000 gifts have been donated to seniors. That is our program for this evening. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, visit ctvnewsedmonton.ca or you can find us on YouTube. Have a good one.